All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon. In this video, we're going to talk about what Brian McIntyre, the trainer of Terence Crawford, had to say about what's next for Terence Crawford. Let's do that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, it's going to be a I told you so. Brian McIntyre, Bomac, who is the trainer of trainer of Terence Crawford, was asked what he thinks is next for Terence Crawford, and is confirming that it is a move from 147 pounds up to 154 pounds to try to get the winner of Jermell Charlo and Brian Castano. Let's talk about that in this video. But first, let me say thank you. Welcome back to the channel. For people that are continually watching the videos, your support is greatly appreciated. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please make sure to hit the subscribe button and hit the bell icon to get all notifications so you can know when we release more videos and we can have more of this good old-fashioned boxing talk. And also thank you to everybody that supports and that wager to our wagering, our betting partner, BUSR at busr.ag/Fanon. We've got promotions going on there consistently so you can get extra value for your wagering money. So make sure that you guys go do that over at busr.ag/Fanon. All right, so let's get into this. Yeah, again, I told you so. Been saying that this is for a while, and a whole bunch of people coming by the chat telling me what I'm speculating about, this, that, and the other. But I told you this at least 6 months ago that Terence Crawford was considering a move up to 154 pounds and that he wanted to fight or sees as a viable fight for him, a fight against Jermell Charlo. Now, as we know, there is a fight coming up between Jermell Charlo and Brian Castano that has been postponed because Brian Castano got not a COVID. That was who's the COVID guy? The COVID guy is Gutierrez on the Colbert fight, but he had torn a bicep, small torn bicep or something like that, that has pushed the fight with Jermell Charlo back. And we're not sure how far it's been pushed back, and honestly, not sure whether or not he's actually going to have that fight or not, or whether or not Jermell Charlo will have a replacement fighter come in. Tim Tszyu, for just for general information, Tim Tszyu, who is the WBO mandatory for Brian Castano, said that he may be willing to step in for that fight. So not quite sure what we're going to see with Jermell, whether it's just going to be pushed back with Castano or whether he's going to take, Tim Tszyu and have that fight and then have Brian Castano. But whatever the case is, Bomac Brian McIntyre said that he sees Terence Crawford moving up to 154 pounds and fighting for those belts at 154 pounds. And what I had said for a while is that is just intelligent. That's intelligent matchmaking, in my opinion. First of all, the fight with ERROL Spence Jr., and he said he would do that if he can't get the ERROL Spence Jr. fight next. However, I'm going to almost guarantee you he's not going to get the ERROL Spence Jr. fight next. ERROL Spence Jr. has mandatories up the wazoo, and he also has what it seems to be an attitude from the PBC that they're not excited about the fight because they believe that Terence Crawford is going to want too much money for the fight. That's what Tim Smith, who's the director of communications, has said. So if what he is saying is true and that is a financial barrier, plus you have the IBF mandatory about to be named on ERROL Spence, which is going to be the winner of Custio Clayton and Jaron Ennis. Also, you have a WBA. The WBA has a mandatory for the winner of ERROL Spence and Ugas, and that is going to be the winner of Stanosis versus George Kambosos. So those are all sitting there and waiting on top of ERROL Spence Jr. and even the WBC. There is a line of there's a mandatory that's going to be coming up their name soon, which has a very high probability of being Keith Thurman. So with all of those things laid out at 147 pounds for ERROL Spence Jr., it's going to be a tougher road to get the fight with Terence Crawford done. So if Terence Crawford doesn't want to do that, he does have a way to get a shot at the WBO, at Undisputed at 154 pounds, because he has the right as a WBO champion at 147 pounds to go to 154 pounds and immediately become eligible to become the mandatory for the WBO champion. That's what he did when he was at 140 pounds and he moved up to 147 pounds. It's also what he did as the WBO champion at 135 pounds when he moved up to 140 pounds to get his shot for that title in his very first fight. So this is a track record. This is something that is within, which Terence Crawford has done in the past, and the WBO has been amenable to do in the past. So it only made sense that he would take that route or consider taking that route. Now, the fight itself, if he's talking about fighting Jermell Charlo, that right there is something that is a big, big accomplishment for Terence Crawford if he's able to do that, because that would make him a 4-division champion, one at 130. He had all of the belts at 140 pounds. And he had, a belt at 147 pounds. So this fight with the 154 pounds is right up his alley, make it a four division champion. And very, very hard to argue that he's not a pound for pound fighter. Also, I do not believe, and I said this in other videos and I still maintain it is true, that it is probably an easier fight to make with Jermell Charlo, because it is not a fight that is as big as Errol Spence, and it may not require, Terence Crawford's attitude being like, hey man, I want to make the fight. I want more money for the fight. And also if he gets it ordered, right, then they're going to have like a purse split type of situation if the WBO orders it, and that's the route that Terence Crawford takes, then it winds up being a situation where Terence Crawford could actually force it to purse bid and make them come up with some type of equitable split of the purse, whatever that is. And it also allows guys like Eddie Hearn to bid on the fight, Bob Arum to bid on the fight if he wanted, along with whatever promoter, right? Because that's what the purse bid does. But to me, I like the move. And, it's not as good as getting the fight that we want to see, or at least I want to see, which is Errol Spence and Terence Crawford. But, it is what it is, man. Sometimes you don't get everything you want the way that you want it. If Terence Crawford is able to actually go there and beat either Brian Castano or Jermell Charlo in that particular circumstance, then, hey, man, he's going to be right there for Errol Spence Jr. when he moves up to 154 himself and challenges for belts there. And you could get an Errol Spence undisputed fight there. Now, him actually beating Jermell Charlo, that right there is a I don't know type of scenario. Jermell Charlo himself is a very, very good fighter. He's definitely, I wouldn't say he's pound for pound, the same or as good as Terence Crawford, but Terence Crawford, trying to set traps and wait to catch a guy as big as Jermell Charlo could be a lot of problems, because if Jermell lays his gloves on him, man, it could definitely be a lights out, night type of situation. But anyway, it is what it is. You let me know what you think in the comment section, because that's my take on the matter. Would love to hear what yours is. And with that, I'm out. Peace.